we are just moments away from presenting the absolute awesome action, as we put it, of Watkins Glen yet again, but this time it's the trucks taking it on. Round 3 of the Saturday Night Truck Series 5th season, and the twists and turns of upstate New York will be the first road course of this campaign. Before we start this special presentation, take a look at your starting grid as the drivers are already on the move. First man going to be on the order, it's going to be the number 5 of Jordan Kuntz taking that pole position with a 112.574. Then from there, going to be Liam Sheen in second with Alexander Russell. Then third in the number 27 with a 112.96. Timothy Wheeler then going to be fourth with Vinny Tigner fifth. It's Roger Saucier qualifying sixth, and Scott Erickson then in seventh. Mark Holloway is going to hold his own and put himself in the 8th spot with Kenneth Gurrell and Austin Holsey opting not to qualify with a time, putting themselves in 9th and 10th. The final man on the order tonight will be the number 35 of Henry Kaloff. He'll be there, the 11th and final driver on the qualification chart. So how's about we get on to the groove here? Drivers making it through the final corner onto the 90-degree first, and through the Bowling Bridge they will go. Time to go under that Bowling Bridge and get to the show here on FTN. Let's take a look as Liam Sheen leads us through the start-finish line. And for those of you watching tonight on FTN, this is a special replay of this race. Gotta thank you all for tuning in so far. As always, I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Croyntz, upstate New York. I was at it last week, not able to broadcast this one in real time, but now as things get on their way in the virtual space, a battle for the lead already brewing. Top 3 drivers making their way out. Liam Sheen gonna have that top spot. Jordan Kuntz gonna be runner-up as it stands, and Alexander Russell will be in third. 1, 2, 3 down the back straightaway. It's going to be from the S's onto the bus stop here in the Glen, using the NASCAR configuration of the circuit, and they're going to be slowed down all the way, hitting those curbs, having to go all the way over them, then putting the power back down into the carousel. Timing and scoring going to be up on your screen momentarily as things get on their way. A time estimate will be given as the night goes on. 40 laps unless it is required to have any extra. Now on the way, Liam Sheen's got that advantage, and it's going to be Jordan Kuntz not too far behind. First and second with Alexander Russell, then third. 1, 2, 3 in the Watkins Glen 98 as they take it to the start-finish line yet again. And right now, Liam Sheen has a very solid advantage, only going to be 7/10 of a second, but right now, without making a mistake, that's all the advantage that he'd need. Jordan Kuntz and Alexander Russell, both very quick drivers as well, no doubt about it. Kuntz, our defending champion. Alexander Russell, while he may be a rookie, has been impressive in races at Homestead and Daytona, but Liam Sheen coming in with a bit of an advantage. Well known in the NASCAR space as one of the most competitive drivers, and has a 4,000 I rating here on road, the highest of any in the field, with a safety rating of 3.63 in the A class. No doubt he's a versatile driver, and on the road he can work his magic just as well, and so far that appears to be the case, leading, and it's been the way for the first few minutes at least of the number 92. Liam Sheen's got the advantage. Then you'll look at Jordan Kuntz in second, Alexander Russell in third, and Timothy Wheeler right now holds his own. He's going to be in fourth. Roger Saucier is going to be the final man inside the top 5, and Vinny Tigner will be 6th, as you see Greg Kaloff, Henry Kaloff that is, making it through to be position number 7. Austin Holsey is going to be the 8th man on the order, and Kenneth Gurrell will be 9th, with Mark Holloway and Scott Erickson currently very far off the pace. That time by was a 1 minute and 45 second lap for Scott, which gives the leaders ample opportunity to put someone a lap down already. That's how quick these drivers are up in front, running qualifying times. That time through, that was a 112.851, a very respectable lap time in the racing conditions, and that's going to put Liam Sheen up ahead, of course, compared to his contemporaries. But Jordan Kuntz is about as quick. That time by his most recent lap, only 7/1000ths of a second away from your leading man. That's enough to stay right with them, and it looks like staying with them is the best thing to do right now. Of course, don't want to mess up your equipment here in the Saturday Night Truck Series Series, only one faster pair on the road course, and that's going to give a little bit more wiggle room than most events this season. However, in this case, one and done, even in terms of pace. If you lose that faster pair, more than likely it's for a big reason. And more than likely, you'll either have to tow down a pit road or limp it around for several minutes. You cannot afford to lose that time, especially against the high level of competition here. And Liam Sheen, well, he knows it as well. That time through, he picks up the pace just a bit more. 1 minute, 12 second, .862. That's the lap time compared to Jordan Coots at a 112.995. So first and second going to be separate a bit more as Alexander Russell fades back further into the distance. Not a major indicator of him losing pace overall, but going to be a bit more conservative on his tire, push the material he's got a little less, and hope that there's a mistake ahead of him to put him back in the frame for a race win. 45 minutes left on the board here at the Glen. Liam Sheen's the man who leads the way, and the Watkins Glen 98 presented in the virtual form. The Truck Series in the real world has not gone to Watkins Glen since 2021, and as it stands, there's no intentions to return to this track in Schuyler County ever again. NASCAR trucks have been seen there as recently as last weekend through the historical Stock Car Racing League, and that was presented in the real world with trucks presented by Nemco Motorsport, Joe Nemechek in one of those, and they're pretty modern in the grand scheme of things, only dating back to about the 2019 season in terms of the age of the equipment, but the overall series sanctioned by NASCAR is set to not return, at least in the foreseeable future. No worries here on iRacing though, as Watkins Glen can still be experienced by any form of motor vehicle. So how's about we take a look at your Fireball Talks NASCAR track information for the day. And as we take a quick glance at it, of course, Watkins Glen International using the NASCAR configuration, the bus stop and no boot, so it's a bit quicker overall, even with that slight hiccup down the main straightaway. After, of course, the front, you make it through the S's, then you'll get to the bus stop eventually. The track first seen in a permanent form in 1956. NASCAR first ventured here in 1957 and has regularly made the trip since 1986. The 2.45 mile configuration is that used in stock truck or stock car competition, and right now it's what's being used in this event for what's supposed to be 40 laps of non-stop racing. Caution's not going to be seen in this race, so if you get stuck at any of the 7 turns on display, you'll have to work it out for yourself or end up off the track for good, retiring and going into pit road. This is a quick look at your Fireball Talks NASCAR track information of Watkins Glen International as we get right back to the racing. Liam Sheen still finds himself up in front. Jordan Coots is going to be second, Alexander Russell's in third, and Timothy Wheeler holds his own to the 4th spot with Roger Saucier in the 5th position, getting very loose there, able to save it, and thanks to a little less pressure from Vinny Tigner right behind, he'll keep the 5th spot and keep himself going as opposed to wrecking entirely. Good save for that number 18. He's going to stay in the mix as a result of keeping calm and letting the truck work itself out. And even if you are not able to contend for the race victory here on the road course, it's always good to keep holding your line, hitting those marks. You don't know how important these points will be as the season goes on. There's a possibility it's going to be make or break later in the going. Of course, when it comes to the championship, so you cannot afford to get risky here trying to push to be a bit more than what you are, especially if you're far away from the leading drivers. We're looking at Roger Saucier right now, and this number 18 is a total now of 18 seconds away from the leader already. We just got the racing started, but even still, a very big gap has been created between those up in front and the mid-packs. You cannot afford to go aggressive to try to chase those ahead of you. It just is not worth it. Be the driver you are. You cannot risk what you have. These points coming home in one piece is even more important than going for an extra position and possibly failing as it goes on. Vinny Tigner going to be 6th right now. He's got a bit of pressure from Henry Kaloff, and Kaloff remains on the back bumper of Tigner. Now going to be 0.8 of a second, the gap between the both of them. 7th place going to be held by the number 35, sponsored by the Underdog Racing Podcast, and we're being asked who is in the 5 tonight. That is going to be Jordan Coots, second man on the order for Shaw Racing Products. He's right behind Liam Sheen in the peak performance paint scheme. Back again, it looks like the 99 on the side of his doors, but all the same, running for Shaw Racing and taking the position of the number 5 truck. So he's going to be right there in the second position. Thank you for stopping by, Andrew, and it's going to be Alexander Russell then in third. A lot of great trucks to keep an eye out for tonight, and one of which, of course, Russell, now getting a bit closer to the back bumper of your second place driver. It's a 113.85 there for the number 3 spot, and Alexander Russell moves closer and closer to Jordan Kuntz. Now, Jordan, one of the many drivers we've seen all throughout FTN. Andrew, I know you have a bit more experience with him, so we'll relay that information to those watching here and now. Monday nights, Jordan Kuntz gets his next gen on, and it is also always a strong showing from the driver, no matter what he's got. If it's a truck, if it's a car, it does not matter. It's still going to be a good chance for Jordan to come home with a race victory. As it stands, making a part-time campaign so far in the Schumacher Racing League, Jordan Kuntz slowly but surely working his way up in the championship standings and trying to find himself in the playoff picture at the end of the going. Of course, 12 races into that championship after a race at Kentucky, Jordan Kuntz going to work his way through, and it looks like more focused on the Truck Series too. They have a Truck Series on Wednesday nights. Versatile driver Jordan Kuntz is, as he continues to chase down Liam Sheen. And Liam Sheen has been on cruise control so far. Less than 40 minutes remaining. As it stands, it's going to be a lead of 1.4 seconds. Sheen has it, Jordan Kuntz wants it, and Alexander Russell begins to fade further back after a brief moment of gaining on those leaders. So he's going to wane back just a bit further, try to keep himself inside the podium. He has a 16-second advantage over Timothy Wheeler, so I don't think that's in the question at all. Either way, he's going to keep it moving and go into the third spot with ease. And Jordan Kuntz, the 2-time winner in the Schumacher Racing League, chasing his first win this season in the Saturday Night Trucks. Defending champion from Season 4, but Season 5 is not, at least at the moment, giving him that amount of success. Trying to get a win on the board very early is the end goal, and right now for Jordan, he has not done so, but there's still a lot of time. 3 races in out of our 12-week season. This is the quarter waypoint, but there's still a ways to go before the regular season concludes, so knocking a win down here at a road course would be fantastic. Why not get the victory out of the way and go for a bit more points running instead? Consistency later, get that big W first, and go from there with a bit less pressure, especially when competing in the playoffs. That's got to be the mindset now for Jordan as he sees Liam Sheen right ahead, and Liam is a rookie. This is his very first race in the Saturday Night Truck Series, one of the many rookies in this field, notably Alexander Russell, who's going to be in third, first-time driver Henry Kaloff, who's in seventh, Austin Holsey, Kenneth Gurrell, Mark Holloway, Scott Erickson, all in their first full-time season. It's a field of relatively inexperienced drivers, but that does not mean they are not talented. They might not know this field, but they're certainly running away right now. First and third, a rookie domination inside the podium. It's going to be the defending champion and one of the league's best-known veterans having to chase them down if there's anyone that can stop Liam Sheen coming home from the win. Gonna get very slow there with Mark Holloway in the way. That's a lap machine. Luckily, nothing much comes of it. Jordan Kuntz going to go by as well, and Holloway going to pull down the inside line and let Alexander Russell go through. That's going to slow down Liam big time. Now that's going to be about 0.7 of a second he lost on that incident alone. No contact, but it's still a lot of pace you lose and momentum. You set yourself up for the corners a specific way. With that interruption in mind, it's a bit harder to do so Liam's going to have to get his bearings back in, get a bit more familiar with the turn next time around, and hopefully pull it together to keep Jordan at bay. That time through, he was 0.2 of a second slower than Jordan Kuntz, lost several tenths of a second on the lap, looking to get back ahead by a larger distance this time through, and it looks like as they make it by the bus stop, two-wheeling it for Jordan Kuntz, Liam Sheen does much of the same. Mark Holloway going to fade back into the 10th spot, one of only 2 drivers right now, 1 lap down. Kenneth Gurrell, the final man on the lead lap, just ahead of your top 2 drivers. The number 57 goes way high high there, not able to keep it inside the groove, but no contact, it does not spin out, so still in control as Liam tries to make his way further and further through the track. Under the Go Bowling Bridge, yet again, they'll come to the start-finish line, and Sheen still has the advantage. Jordan Kuntz tries to remain in play. That time through, he was 1/10 of a second quicker, so even without any interruptions or track blockers, Liam Sheen might be losing a bit of that magic, and this is when tires become to come into question. That time through, both drivers ran a lap within the 1 minute and 14-second margins, their best laps on the track, both in the 1 minute and 12-second range. So tires are definitely beginning to fall off, and the question becomes, who can save these tires the best for the long run? Full course yellows are disabled for this event. Only one attempt at the green-white checkered, but it's almost impossible to use one without a full course caution. So with that in mind, you've got to save your tires. You only have 2 sets to work with. If you burn one out, you're going to be on to the next, and you're going to be in big trouble, especially if you have to come in early. So Liam Sheen remains out in front, trying to get away from the problem. Jordan Kuntz, though, one of the best tire savers in this league, is having no such issue and is now beginning to slowly but surely reel your leader in as he hopes to make a case for win number 1 on the campaign. And right now, the top 2 remain within about 1 second's worth. They're not going to be using all the tarmac here on the first corner exiting the 90. It's not possible on iRacing. That is an automatic iRacing track violation, meaning these drivers have to be a bit more careful all throughout the track, or iRacing might give them slowdowns, which will hinder their race. If you go a bit too far out of the curb through the first corner, you're going to be in big trouble, as Mark Holloway appears to be in trouble, spinning it through the 90, but getting it back on the way. So let's take a quick FTN instant replay here and find out just what happened as Mark Holloway puts himself nearly in the barrier. As we take a look back, let's find out how. And just gets it loose into the entry of the corner, then tries to put the power down and spins luckily into the pit access road, so no major damage there. Mark Holloway going to get back on the move, and luckily for the Bass Pro Shops Toyota Tundra, no damage going to come of it. Holloway's back on the groove, and it's going to be the S's he climbs now in the 10th spot. Kenneth Garrell going to remain ahead of him as Liam Sheen still leads the way. Top 3 drivers in the world of their own, but there's a big battle right now. Roger Saucier and Henry Caloff. Caloff remains down low, but he's going to have a bit more pressure. As you can see, Vinny Tigner's there as well. Multiple drivers rushing down to the bus stop side by side. Who's going to give? Looks like right now it will be nobody. Tigner decides to brake harder, and it looks like he'll be the man who lets go, letting Roger get back to the movement and trying to chase down Henry Caloff yet again. Henry's got that advantage, going to keep the 35 ahead of this 3-way battle, and holds on to the 5th spot. Very good defensive driving so far, but let's see how long he can hold on. And looking on board right now with the number 35 of Henry Caloff, you can see multiple drivers just behind him. If there's any mistake, it's going to be that much easier for both Roger Saucier and Vinny Tigner to catch up in no time. It is absolutely a close battle up in front, and it looks like for the 5th spot on the board, Henry's beginning to pull away just a bit. Nothing major as they come through the S's yet again. Vinny Tigner still going to stay on the back bumper of Roger Saucier, and it looks like Roger's going to be stuck in the middle of it, and if he gets a run during the back straightaway here before the bus stop, maybe there's a chance to catch up even further and make a pull as they go down the DRS zone for open wheel machinery. Vinny Tigner's got that draft, looks low, doesn't do much with it. 32 minutes remaining as it stands. It's going to be Liam Sheen in the first spot, Jordan Kuntz then in second, Alexander Russell in third, Timothy Wheeler's fourth on the order, and Henry Kaloff is in fifth. Roger Saucier's then sixth, and Vinny Tigner is in seventh. Only 8 drivers left on the lead lap as it stands, Austin Holsey the last of which, and right now Austin puts himself in that 8th spot, keeping it within the lead lap. 3 drivers have gone at least 1 lap down, but for Austin, maintaining his pace, hitting his marks lap after lap. That time by was a 1:18.5, but not enough to make any substantial time on those ahead of him as the battle persists. Vinny Tigner takes it down low through corner number 1. Great move for Vinny, and just like that, he'll put himself up in a 6th. Roger Saucier can't do much of it for now. He'll have to wait for another opportunity, just like that. The driver, the number 18, gonna lose out on the spot, and Vinny, the new league owner here in the Saturday Night Trucks, gets position number 6 and hopes to chase down Henry Kaloff. And looking further up ahead, Timothy Wheeler going to be alone here in the 4th position, so not much to say about his run so far. Quiet, but very, very solid. And that's exactly what needs to be done here in the Spam number 22. As you'll see, Kenneth Gurrell, the lapper, down to the inside line, not going to interfere with these drivers ahead. It looks like it's going to be yet again a pass made by Timothy, but not for any position. Either way, very good run on the verge of his first career podium, but only 21 seconds separate him and Alexander Russell. He'd need a major mistake out of a driver ahead of him right now if he wants any opportunity to climb back up ahead, but it looks like for now he'll be happy and content with what he's got, keeping it in very good pace. 21 seconds behind third, but 17 seconds ahead of any other driver. Henry Kaloff, the closest of which, as you'll see, Gurrell's going to go for a slide, and Kenneth Gurrell goes through the bus stop and luckily keeps it straight. That could have been much worse for the driver of the number 57, but Gurrell's going to keep going, and what looked to be out of control, back on the way Kenneth will be, and does not make contact with any other driver. Luckily, nothing going to come of it, and just like that, the 57's back on the move. Kenneth Gurrell still going to be driving. And looking further at it, it's going to be Gurrell going around yet again, spinning for the 2nd time in the same lap. Kenneth is not going to get any break, and it looks like now going to have to get rolling once again as Timothy Wheeler is the first man to come down to pit road for a competitive pit stop. 17 laps into his run, he'll take it through, and Kenneth Gurrell will all the same. Timothy, though, going to take it through for a competitive stop this time by at the 18th lap of competition. Now he'll be the first man in the pits, trying to undercut for strategy. That might be the move for the leading drivers here. Liam Sheen, Jordan Kuntz, and Alexander Russell all put on notice. Now, pit stops are part of the equation. You might have to make one. Eventually, it's going to be done for everyone, but is it best to do it early or best to do it late? Now it could be the time to try it out. Both drivers in the top 2 opt not to, even though Liam Sheen gets slowed down big. That's Austin Holsey. Holsey pulls down to the inside and chooses not to interfere with Alexander Russell as they dive into turn 1. Holsey pulls in, Russell goes out and keeps the position. After a first competitive pit stop of the day, it might become the move for these drivers to go in before the halfway point. 19 laps in out of 40, and it looks like for Liam Sheen, the halfway marker might be the best place to go in a pit road, especially when it comes to making the strategy work evenly. These first 19 laps have been a cruise for him. No pressure that's been direct so far. Jordan Kuntz still about 1 second behind him, and it looks like Jordan's not been able to do all too much to make that gap any smaller. Liam Sheen remains out in front so far, and it's Jordan Kuntz still lying back a second second and 2/10. Alexander Russell is going to be third, and Henry Caloff will be fourth, 42 seconds behind. He still has to make a pit stop, as does Vinny Tigner, Roger Saucier, Austin Holsey, and Scott Erickson. Top 3 drivers included as well, and it looks like for now, none of which have taken it in, save for Austin Holsey, who goes into the grass and luckily keeps it going. Not going to be a major issue, but still going to be an incident all the same. Austin keeps it on the track, gets back into motion, and it's going to be Holsey taking it down to the stripe after a big slide, but no big contact out of turn 6 into turn 7. Looking back at your leader, it's still Liam Sheen at the halfway mark of this race, 26 minutes in. Jordan Kuntz remains there in second, and now only 3 drivers at the lap 20 marker. Henry Caloff is that far behind, almost the entirety of the field. Could be one lap down. In all honesty, that's how dominant these 3 up ahead have been all throughout this race. No other driver besides those inside the podium have put down a lap even close to a 1 minute 15 within the last lap, save for Caloff that time around, and the top 3 are within the 1:14 bracket. They are clearly quicker, and that's the way it looks to stay as the gap extends yet again. Kenneth Garrell comes down to pit road for the final time to retire his truck. He'll be finishing 11th and last on the order tonight. Goes through for a slide as Jordan Kuntz does as well, but now down to pit road. Jordan Kuntz comes in early, and he'll try to go for the undercut at the halfway point. 20 laps to go. Jordan Kuntz is down and in, and just like that, the number 5 takes it through, and the second place driver fades back to third as he'll opt to go into pit road before his contemporaries up in front. Liam Sheen now finds himself alone in first. It's 2.5 seconds going back to Alexander Russell, and then it's going to be Jordan Kuntz still in third despite the pit stop as he finds himself 20 seconds ahead of Henry Caloff. Jordan's opting to go into pit road early, trying to get that undercut going, and as they come around this time by, it's going to be Jordan Kuntz still inside the podium. Henry Caloff coming through into the start-finish line, and he'll stay fourth. One of the big 3 has come in. Now it's time to see what's next for both Liam Sheen and Alexander Russell as they come through yet again. 21 laps in out of 40. 24 minutes and 47 estimated seconds remain on the board as the leaders come through yet again. What's the move for Liam Sheen? It's a trip down to pit road. He'll make it in next. Alexander Russell comes in as well. Both drivers in at the same time, and now we've got ourselves a big run onto pit road. Roger Saucier, Vinny Tigner, Alexander Russell, and Liam Sheen all make their way through. Just like that, the time to beat is a 42.3 second pit stop for Jordan Kuntz. Fastest of the night so far, and it looks like second quick goes to Timothy Wheeler's 43.9. He just got bested by a 43.6 on the behalf of Vinny Tigner. However, now all eyes are on your top 2 drivers, Liam Sheen and Alexander Russell. Jordan Kuntz is flying down the front straightaway, putting together the lap of his life, and at the stripe, he puts it through for a 1 minute and 38 second lap. That's good enough to get up in front. Jordan Kuntz takes the lead, and the pit strategy gives him the advantage. The undercut is clear, and now he's out in front with 24 minutes estimated. Now only 19 laps left. Big move up in front for Jordan Kuntz as he takes the lead. Liam Sheen will be second, and Alexander Russell will be third as they make it out of the S's into the bus stop. And that's exactly what needed to be done for the driver of the number 5, of course, 92, Liam Sheen, absolutely not able to get it done. And just like that, Liam Sheen makes it out to second, but leading he will not be doing any longer. Now he's going to have to fight this one back. He was, of course, the leading man for oh so long, but now in the dirty air, it's a much different driving circumstance compared to the way it is up in front, up and down throughout the order. Liam Sheen goes down 1 spot. Alexander Russell remains in third. Jordan Kuntz gets the spot back and finds himself up in front as it's going to be lap number 23. And with 22 minutes left on the board, we're going to shout out our favorite camera partner on iRacing. Track Cams for Gormans provide high-quality iRacing cameras for over 100 tracks and cars on the iRacing platform. If you're interested in joining the TrackCams22.com membership, you have to go down to trackcams22.com for more information, or visit our Facebook page looking up Track Cams for Gourmets on Facebook. We're going to crank it up with 22 minutes left on the board, courtesy of our friends at trackcamsforgourmets.com. The best angles and the best sounds here on FTN. Roger Saucier has trouble, but it looks like he'll go down to pit road. Now it's time to crank it up uninterrupted. And with less than 19 minutes remaining on the board, Jordan Kuntz still has that lead, able to play the pit strategy perfect. And even through our track cams for Gourmets crank it up, we are still going strong with the number 5 out in front. Keeping it ahead of Liam Sheen in second and Alexander Russell in third. The 1-2-3 combination is still leagues ahead of the rest of the field. Vinny Tigner is 5th and is on the verge of going one lap down. Timothy Wheeler's in 4th, 37 seconds away from your big 3. These 3 drivers have been dominant all race long, especially the 2 up in front of the podium, and now they're looking to put another driver one lap down in the middle of a fierce battle to take that top spot home with the checkered flag. Going under the Go Bowling Bridge yet again, both drivers pushing to the limits, almost making contact with the turn 7 wall, but that they will not. Precision and speed, it's a combination of both attributes attributes if you want to be at the top level. And as they go yet again, it looks like it's going to be Jordan Kuntz extending the lead, but slightly, by 7/100ths of a second. That time by, it still is going to be a gain, but not too major. If any slip-up were to occur, it could be Liam Sheen taking it right back. Alexander Russell knows that as well. He holds on in third. Here at the road course, anything could happen. These trucks do not have all too much downforce, besides mechanical downforce. Aerodynamically, not too optimized for racing here, but that's what makes it always exciting. It's going to be about managing the truck in ways you did not think was possible, and that's what brings out the peak performance in all these drivers. Notably, the peak performance motorsport driver who leads the way and keeps himself ahead of the field, and now another driver looking to be put one lap down just ahead of the drivers on the top of the board. That's Vinny Tigner, 1 minute and 10 seconds down as it stands. The number 12 will see the leaders in his rear view mirror. As we take a look on board, we'll see if there's any reaction from Vinny. As it stands, it looks like there will not be, and he'll remain up in front without any objection, trying not to make a move, and it looks like he has no reason to move out of the way. And as it goes through time after time, Timothy Wheeler going to be in fourth, Vinny Tigner's fifth, but the big three remain on top as they come across the stripe yet again. It will be lap number 29. Time's running out. It'll be a dozen to do it here on FTN, and the drivers know it's now or never to make a big move as Jordan Kuntz dives into the bus stop, gives some pressure to Vinny, and puts him up to the wayside. Top side, he will go. Deep sea diving for Jordan Kuntz. He goes down to the bottom, and it will do away with another Latin machine just like that. 4 drivers on the lead lap, the last of which is Timothy Wheeler, and that's the way it is now. Almost every other driver in the field at least one lap down, save for your top 3. Timothy Wheeler, the lone exception, and the top 2 of Jordan Kuntz and Liam Sheen remain out in front. Jordan gonna take him down on the line yet again, no trouble, and he keeps it up in front, taking him now to 29, and Liam Sheen remains in second. Alexander Russell fading back slowly but surely, not gonna be able to catch back up with these drivers. Russell gonna be still within the podium here as he sees a big wiggle for Vinny Tigner, just able to avoid it. That could have been a disaster, and it could have changed the podium as well, but Russell gets away, and no big worry for him after that brief slip-up. And notably, looking further back, Mark Holloway going to have a big slip of his own right, losing 4 seconds in terms of his average pace on this lap alone. Now going to fall back to Austin Holsey. Austin gets that 8th spot yet again. Mark Holloway is pushed back into 9th, able to keep it going, however, and looks like he'll come down to pit road to save the equipment here, as opposed to risking it any further and perhaps losing a chance to keep himself inside the top 10. Roger Saucier, though, did come down to pit road to retire the truck very recently, so a top 10 is guaranteed for all those on the track, and it looks like for everyone it's at least or finish in the single digits if they're still racing at this point. Coming down the line yet again, it's going to be Jordan Kuntz taking him through for a lap 30 of 40. Just like that, it's going to be your leading driver in the number 5, up in front by half a second. Top 2 still remain very, very close, and you've got to wonder, what can Liam Sheen do, if anything, to take that top spot back? He's been on the back bumper for oh so long, but there's no sign that he has the speed to take that position right back. Maybe there's a chance to get it done through the bus stop later in the going, but it is getting very late in this race. Already 30 laps without caution. You cannot risk going any further without making a big move. However, it looks like for Liam, that's exactly what he's trying to do. Goes through the bus stop into the carousel yet again. 0.4 of a second the gap now, but he can't do much else. Saving it for later. Might be the move right now if you're a second place driver. The lead just moments away from being snatched, but the decision has not been made to go aggressive, or maybe this is all he has. That's another question. However, it would not be likely. Undercutting was what Jordan Kuntz did to take the lead, but it means he does not have newer tires. Instead, Liam has the advantage in terms of tires, and it could be used to his advantage later in the going to push harder when the going gets tough. That time by was 0.2 of a second, separating the 2 drivers at the start-finish line. Let's take a look on board again with Liam Sheen to watch the battle between himself and Jordan Kuntz. And as it stands, it's still going to be just under half a second between the top three drivers. Jordan Kuntz still has the advantage there, but Liam Sheen has remained on the back bumper, and with newer tires, there's reason to believe maybe there's a bit more left inside the number 92 Chevrolet to fight for that race win. After all, Alexander Russell is going to be about 2 seconds behind in terms of Liam Sheen, and overall, Timothy Wheeler 50 seconds behind your leaders, but remains in the 4th spot. Not a bad run for him at all, but overall just not able to keep up with those at the head of the field. 9 laps to go, this time behind the Watkins Glen 98, and that's the way it's going to go. Yet again, 1 pit stop, no cautions, and everyone up in front has had to fight from the very beginning without interruption. Jordan Kuntz knows that time might be running out, but there's still a ways to go until the checkered flag does indeed fall. So for Liam Sheen, there's always an opportunity, and defense still has to be sharp if you're the leader. A lap machine right now ahead. We'll see what he does with Scott Erickson. Might try to lunge it in deep like he did to Vinny Tigner, and it looks like he will. Scott Erickson going to do the most of the work and go very close to Liam Sheen, and it's almost contact. Scott Erickson finds himself at the barrier. Liam Sheen barely able to navigate around, and just like that, the leaders are going to be separated with some major wreck avoidance from Liam Sheen. That could have gone much, much worse, but for Liam Sheen, the wreck avoidance saves his opportunity at even chasing down the win. Take a look again. And almost getting clipped there on the rear end as Scott Erickson goes up to the tire barrier. Liam Sheen going to be displaced from the best line on the track, but all the same, wiggling up to the high side to avoid major contact. Nice move there for Liam to keep himself inside the 2nd spot. Very, very close, but not able to make it happen. For Scott Erickson, luckily does not get involved, with Liam Sheen going to lose some time as a result. About 7/10 of a second worth between the top 2 drivers right now. Jordan Kuntz still has that advantage, and Liam Sheen remains there in 2nd. Alexander Russell is going to be in 3rd, and it's going to be Timothy Wheeler still in 4th. Looking further back, no major battles for those drivers outside the lead lap. Henry Kaloff is in 6th. Vinny Tigner able to gain big and find himself in 5th. Scott Erickson just retired from the racing surface. He will end up in position number 9 because Mark Holloway now chases down Erickson, putting Mark up into 8th, and he'll be the final finisher of the day. Austin Holsey's going to be 7th right now as you look further on back, and now Liam Sheen's 2nd place might be in question. Certainly getting rattled up from that incident and now driving it deeper into the bus stop to compensate. 7/10 of a second separating the two before they hit the bus stop. Gets a bit closer to the corner, of course, but now it might be a bit too far gone for Liam, having to make that big shift, maybe damaging the tires, changing the way they drive overall. The truck's getting a major rehaul in terms of damage and tires very recently on iRacing, and they're the most up-to-date in terms of the physics engine on the platforms. You have to be very, very careful with how they drive, or else you're going to feel it all throughout the race. And right now for Sheen, he might be suffering the consequences. That time by, he was slightly quicker than Jordan Kuntz, but the lap before was several tenths of a second adrift. So it is up and down 34 laps in. Maybe not consistent enough to chase down the lead, but stay right on his coattails, hoping for a mistake or a big slip-up. Right now, it's going to be Sheen remaining in 2nd. Alexander Russell then going to be in 3rd. Timothy Wheeler still going to be the final man on the lead lap in 4th. Top 3 drivers separate by a 1.5 seconds. Rest of the field at least 50 seconds behind them. That's how good these top 3 are, and that's how absolutely dominant Jordan Kuntz has been. Only 4 drivers on the lead lap, and it looks like he's one of them. 2 of them are right behind, and Timothy Wheeler's been in his own world all throughout this race, and looks to be the only driver not in jeopardy of going 1 lap down outside the podium. And that time by as they go through the apex of turn 6. A big gain for Liam Sheen. Now going to be 0.3 of a second yet again. So Jordan's going to have to work it a bit harder through the corners. Exiting turn 7 right up to the wall. Decides not to get too close to it, but still going to use that exit for all it's worth. Now, lap 35, 6 laps remaining. Top 2 drivers going to be under a blanket yet again, and Liam remains on the edge of his seat. Taking a look on board this time from Jordan Kuntz to see what's going on as he barely holds on to the lead now. 35 laps in out of the 40 scheduled for tonight's race. And riding on board with Jordan Kuntz right now, absolutely on edge. You've got to make sure every moment works out. Of course, there's going to be the driver of that number 5 up in front, and while he has that clean air, you've got to make sure defense is on the A game. Every moment you've got to be aware. Every moment you've got to be thinking, where will the driver behind me go? If they go someplace unexpected, that might be the difference between winning and losing. So staying sharp inside the cockpit is very important. If you can't do that, there's a chance you'll lose a lead, and that might be the race for you. Luckily for Jordan Kuntz, he does not seem to have that issue. He's a champion in this league already, defending champion as a matter of fact. So coming in with the most to prove yet again, as Liam Sheen's going to take it down on the low line. Does not make much of it. He'll slot right back high. It's still just under 0.4 of a second now, as close as a quarter of a second moments ago. As they go through the S's yet again, get a bit more separate. Jordan gets a better run out, and just like that, Kuntz has the edge with 5 laps remaining. Liam Sheen going to be second still. Alexander Russell there in third, still within 1 second. Russell's getting closer to Liam Sheen, and it might become a battle there. Russell getting inch by inch closer, and with the appearance of Austin Holsey yet again to be put a 3rd lap down. Austin goes way up high, lets Liam Sheen go, lets Jordan Kuntz go, and even lets Alexander Russell go all the same. Top 3 drivers make it by quite easily, and just like that, Russell going to be the final of the 3, still within arm's reach of the top spot. Coming down to the stripe yet again, and there'll be 4 laps remaining. A big wiggle there for Kuntz. He'll drive it into turn 7, and it looks like it's going to be another lap in the books. Not much issue. Tire degradation has been major all night long, though. As it stands, a 1 minute 14.199, 1 minute and 14 seconds is the leading time. Liam Sheen that time through 0.7 of a second slower, misses the apex, and now Alexander Russell is truly within very close distance, closing in further and further. Liam Sheen strays from the top spot, and Russell's now got a shot to take home second. After lap, it appeared he'd be third. It might be an opportunity given to him by Liam Sheen to take that second spot and move up one more just before the race ends. And now it's only going to be a total of 4 laps remaining. Jordan Kuntz still remains out in front of all drivers, with Liam Sheen then second, Alexander Russell third. The top 3 have been the talking point all night long. No other battles right now existing in the minds of each and every driver. This is the big one. Lap machines will move out the way. Those who are still on the lead lap hope to stay there, and a lot of drivers not able to make it happen. It's been a race of attrition too, so several drivers have chosen to come down to pit road, and they have parked it for the night. 3 laps to go, though. There's no option to park for these guys up ahead. The podium now takes it to lap number 38, and Liam Sheen sees some big pressure now from Alexander Russell. Up and down the order, these drivers have stayed the most stagnant, and now that Jordan Kuntz has the advantage yet again, you'll see Russell right there on the back bumper. Take a look on our close-up drone shot as they go through the S's together. throughout the straightaway after the S's. The bus stop really backs them down to speeds of just under 100 miles an hour. You've got to mind your speed all throughout the laps. It's a high-speed racing circuit. Some drivers call it the SuperSpeedway of road courses, especially in this configuration. Drivers in the Cup Series go up to speeds of over 165 miles an hour. Here it might not be at that level of speed, but you're still solidly hitting over 150 as they go through yet again. 6 and 7, only about a speed of 85 miles an hour through the corners, but that's enough to fly right by the virtual stands as Jordan Kuntz leads them down to make it only 2 laps remaining. Side by side for second yet again, Liam Sheen defends on the low side. Alexander Russell remains high, tries to get the apex working, does not. He'll arc it differently and use the momentum down the back straightaway to get himself going yet again. S's Day will go apex to apex. Russell stays right behind, but nothing can be done so far with some masterful defense from Liam Sheen as they come through the straightaway yet again. Backstretch battling, it'll be to the bus stop, and Liam Sheen cannot defend low any longer. He'll go high, cross low, and keep himself there in second. It's a big defensive performance for Liam Sheen right now, holding on to what he's got, and it looks like he'll do so with ease as they go through the carousel. 39 laps in so far. It'll be coming down to the white flag. If there's anything more that can be done, save it for the last lap. This race will be official in just a few moments as Jordan Kuntz comes through the final right-hand turn. It's turn 7. He'll take his Ford F-150 down under the Gold Bowling Bridge for the penultimate time, and it's going to be 1 lap to go here in Watkins Glen, and it looks like the flagman set to wave as the drivers come by. 40 laps in. Now it comes down to Jordan Kuntz looking to lead them home as it's going to be 1 more lap. Liam Sheen going to be side by side now with Alexander Russell. Russell works his way down low, looks to have the advantage. The number 92 not able to make much of it though, and it looks like now it's going to be Alexander Russell just barely out in front. He's going to be put back away again as it looks like the low line's advantageous through the final segment of the S's. Back and forth, both drivers go. Now Russell's got the shot to take it through the bus stop. That he does. He'll take it right down low, but it's going to be side by side right through the bus stop. Liam Sheen does not lift, nor does Russell. Still dead even as they go through the carousel. This race is not over, but the leaders are almost at the checkered flag. Jordan Kuntz looking to leave these two behind. Russell gets the edge. He's now holding second as they come by this time around. Jordan Kuntz looking to wrap things up. The number 5 machine holding fort, keeping that race lead. And as it comes down to the stripe this time by, the final lap will be in conclusion, and it has been pit strategy that gets our defending champion back into victory lane. Jordan Kuntz is a winner again, getting it done in the Watkins Glen 98. What a win. Road course racing with the trucks never disappoints, and the best of the best put on a fantastic show. Alexander Russell able to come home with that second place finish, and Liam Sheen then with third. And it's a big time effort for all those drivers who kept with it all throughout the race. What a way to go though, especially for your leading man. How about that night for Jordan Kuntz? The undercut plays out in his favor, winning from pole position with Alexander Russell third and qualifying, moving up to second in the race, and Liam Sheen moving 1 spot back, third, and the final man in the podium. Final man on lead lap is Timothy Wheeler with Vinny Tigner 5th, Henry Kaloff 6th, Austin Holsey 7th, and Mark Holloway 8th, as Scott Erickson comes home 9th and Roger Saucier comes home 10th. It's Kenneth Gurrell 24 laps down, the final man on the track, who finishes out our lineup for tonight's race, the Watkins Glen 98. Looking to burn it down in the Finger Lakes, Jordan Kuntz comes by to the start-finish line, and it's time to get the celebration on for your defending champion back in victory lane. And the celebration continues for a driver who's absolutely no stranger to burning it down after races here in the Saturday Night Trucks. This night, though, it's his first chance to get it done in Season 5. And Jordan Kuntz set to park it down at the start-finish line. What a way to finish it off as Barney the flagman waves the checkered flag. The Watkins Glen 98 ends in dramatic fashion. We'll be right back with your winner interview in just a moment after a brief message courtesy from our friends at iRacing Motorsport Simulations. Stick around, we'll have your winner talking with us momentarily as we head to a brief break. Of course, to thank our promotional sponsors, our partners on the Fireball Talks NASCAR YouTube channel.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
As we come back from a promotional break tonight at the Watkins Glen International Circuit, another great race sees the twists and turns find another new winner this season. Jordan Kuntz comes back in Season 5 as a defending champion and wins his first race of the tour, getting it done at a road course in impressive fashion. How was it here at Watkins Glen, of course, looking back on this race?
This was definitely a really hard race. I did get pole, which was kind of surprising to me. Liam was quicker than me in practice. To get pole was a very good surprise, but I didn't do the best of job on the start and lost it. And just sat behind him patiently waiting for a mistake that never came. And then the pit stop time came. And I'm like, well, I can't really stay out later than him, so I'm just going to have to undercut him and see what happens. And it got me the lead, and I was just able to have track position and hold on to it.
And with no cautions tonight, that seemed to be the big part of the strategy, the turning point, if you will, undercutting the other two drivers in the battle for the lead. The podium was on fire. Nobody else could keep up. Between you three, it looked to be relatively even. So what was it that led to that decision of taking that undercut?
Just the fact that it was really hard to pass Liam. He was just a bit quicker than me, if not even, and nothing I really can do whenever we're just so even. So the only way to get an advantage is to do an undercut or overcut, and I feel like an undercut would have been better in this situation, and it clearly was.
And it looks like all worked out taking that undercut. Now, one thing we noticed, the clean air definitely helped whoever was the leading driver. How big was that impacting you here at the Glen?
It was definitely somewhat an impact. It wasn't the biggest impact, though. It just, you can't really pass. So hard to set up a run whenever you have two really good drivers that are so even on pace. And I think the main issue was us being so even that we really couldn't pass, and tire wear never really kicked in. So couldn't really bank on tire wear to make a pass either.
And with such even racing, still able to find a way to come home on top at the Glen. And of course, the rest of the season bringing us back to the ovals. It's going to be Dover up next, of course, next Saturday night. So we're taking it from the twists and turns, but we're keeping it in the Northeast. How's it going to be like heading to Dover for our fourth race of the season?
Dover is definitely one of the tracks I like to circle on the calendar. My favorite track, go-to track, want-to-win track. I want to try to give it everything and try to go get 2 wins in a row, and hopefully with the right paint scheme this time.
And getting it done, looking for 2 for 2 here in the number 5 for Shaw Racing Products. Jordan Kuntz looking for victory lane. Anything more you'd like to add?
I'd like to thank everyone at Peak Performance Motorsports and Schuyler Racing for everything they've helped me with. Schuyler Racing for, of course, giving me a team in this league, and Peak Performance for everything they do outside of this league in terms of Road to Pro setups and making me a better driver. And I would also like to thank Cameron for giving me this opportunity to race at Shaw, and yeah, it's been amazing so far.
And coming through with Shaw Racing, new team in the league, but still the same level of success. Jordan Kuntz gets it done in the Watkins Glen 98, winning from the twists and turns of upstate New York. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And with Jordan Kuntz on the way, he's the final driver we'll get a comment from tonight. Unfortunately, Liam Sheen and Alexander Russell not available after tonight's broadcast. Nonetheless, a fantastic performance from the number 5 of Jordan Kuntz, bringing it together for his first win here in Season 5. Stay tuned for our next race on Saturday night. Of course, it's going to be yet again a thriller, but this time it's going to be in Dover, Delaware. The Dover Motor Speedway sees another race coming in just a few days' time. Saturday night, 8 Eastern, as always, race 4, and it's going to be another Northeastern thriller. Gotta thank y'all for watching this special presentation of the 3rd race of the Saturday Night Truck Series season, number 5. The road courses never disappoint with the trucks, and I'm glad to say that still holds up. Gotta thank y'all for watching live on FTN. As always, I've been your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz. Before we end tonight's broadcast, we're going to go back to a promotional break to thank all our associates who allowed this broadcast to happen. Of course, getting us back on track for the remainder of the Saturday Night Truck Series season. So we thank y'all for watching live on FTN and hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. From our studios to your homes, we hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation of the Saturday Night Truck Series and hope to see you as a viewer whenever we're live again on FTN. Thank y'all for your support, and we hope to see you whenever we're live. Thank y'all, and we hope you have a great night. We'll throw out to our presentation of our promotional associates, and we'll be right back to close this broadcast off as we always do. Thank y'all for your support, and we'll return tomorrow night. Not quite. Monday night's the move for the Integrity Ignite Series at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Stick around for a triple header on FTN Monday, but for now, we'll leave you with a fantastic race to watch back and our final promotional break of the night.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.